And I'm Shirley Tyler.
And
Welcome to the Toni Talk Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today our topic is going to be about accountability. Accountability. What is accountability? It is a quality of the state of being accountable and an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. When I think about accountability, Toni, I think about everyday life because it is our responsibility to be accountable, especially about our own life and everything that we do, and everything that we say and how we live. Exactly. We have that responsibility to be accountable in and how we live. Exactly. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. Mm-hmm. As a young girl, I used to look at my downfalls or mistakes or my situation and want to blame someone else for it. Put the blame. It's almost like a natural thing to do before you become evolved with yourself. And what I didn't realize is that is blaming someone else gives that other person the power over your life. So if you felt like, okay, I didn't do it, so why should you do anything about it? I didn't do it, so why am I doing something about it? It's their fault. So now you're waiting on them to change your life for the better. But it's anything that you participate in, be it with this person, that person, or whoever, if you're involved in it, you have a big part in it. So accept your part in it. Sometimes it's not completely our fault, but we have a responsibility to that type of situation that affects us. Mm-hmm. So as soon as you take your power back by saying, okay, this part I could have changed. I did not have to do it that way, which led to them doing it the way they did it, and things turned out the way that they did. Just at least accept your part of the responsibility, and that you can change for the better.
Yes, and just to speak upon that, what you just spoke about, that is so true. I think about, when you're trying to be successful in life, no one is going to hand you anything. You have to do your part. You have to be persistent. You have to, persevere. You have to do the things to prepare yourself to get to where you want to be. Am I correct?
Exactly.
So it does. It takes you, striving and pushing and getting up every day and making wise and conscious decisions. That is a big part of this word that we're speaking about today, of accountability. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying earlier, and Shirley was saying as well, we have to be accountable for ourselves. Mm-hmm. We have to be accountable when it comes down to doing great things in our lives. We have to take responsibility for things when they go bad, our part in it. And I always tell everybody, I tell all my nieces and nephews and young people that come around me, if you have, accept the responsibility, and so that means you had the power to create a situation. So the same power you had to create it, you have the same power to change it. Mm-hmm. You just have to deal with the consequences in the situation in the meantime, in between time, until you can turn this thing around for yourself. Mm-hmm. But you have the power to do it. But as long as you want to blame somebody else for your misfortune or your mishaps or whatever, you will give them the power. And mm-hmm. guess what? They don't give a crap. They're not looking to change your life for the better. They're only concerned about themselves. So assume your responsibility, take responsibility over your life, your situations, and make sure that you get in there and do what you've got to do to change it.
So true.
And focus on the good. Mm-hmm. Change it, and then start focusing on what you can do in your life to make a much more positive outcome for yourself and those around you.
Yes, and making mistakes. Sometimes, we do make mistakes. That's what life is about, sometimes making mistakes. And you can only learn from your mistakes. Once you have learned from your mistakes, then you can take this accountability in and do what needs to be done to make it right. to clear things up. If there's any type of confusion on decisions making or anything that's regarding your life path, you have to have the mindset to say, you know what, okay, I didn't do this right, or I didn't say this right, so forth. Let me see what other direction can I go to make it right, and that's going to better me, and where can I benefit from making the right decisions and being accountable, and just being responsible for your own actions and your own behavior. Even in a negative situation, I'm going to go there for a moment. You can be in a negative situation that doesn't look good, and you would have to step back for a minute and take a pause and say, now, how would I react to this negative situation? Am I going to respond to this in a positive way, or am I going to respond to this situation in a negative way? So the good thing about it, and the wise thing to do, is to respond to it in a positive way. Because every time you respond to something not in a positive way, 9 times out of 10, it works its way out, and it helps, and it's smooth everything out pretty much. It's also can help those that may be involved in the situation. If there's anyone that is involved in that particular situation, it can just make things better.
And on that point, I mean, she said a mouthful, but just to kind of reiterate what she was saying in my own words, create some space between making an abrupt decision about things, and just sit back, take some time, and look at that situation and say, is this the right move to make? Are you acting on impulse, or are you acting out of rationalizing things and a rational mind? So you want to prevent constantly trying to fix things and say whose fault it was and blaming other people. Just start as you move forward in life. Be conscious of things that you do, conscious of people that you are around,
right.
Conscious of what you say, what you don't say, and then you won't have all those regrets. For example, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. Actually, I have like 36 of them, and about 63 great nieces and nephews, and Lord knows how many great-greats. It's getting wild. Okay. Wasn't fortunate to have children myself because God knew I had no room for them. But I've heard many times, oh, Auntie, I got fired from my job because they didn't like me. And just because, I said, well, did you get there on time and give it your best shot? Well, yeah, I was late. Well, yeah, but I was late a few times, and just because I missed a few days, and I was talking a lot, and all these things pointing toward that individual not doing what they were supposed to do as far as being responsible on that job. But right away they went to, the boss doesn't like me, and they just fired me for nothing. I'm like, well, I'd have let you go too. You didn't come to work on time. You wasn't doing your job while you were there. You were talking out, taking smoke breaks and all those things. I mean, how is that someone else's fault? So each job you go to, nobody likes you, right? So, a lot of times people are making up excuses of why these things are happening to them. Take the initiative to sit back and look at yourself and say, okay, I'm supposed to go to work on time. I am supposed to obey the rules and regulations of the job. I am not supposed to be out smoking cigarettes or doing whatever when I don't have a break. And then you can keep your next job. Exactly. I mean, that's just a simple example, but even in relationships, you have relationships where people want to blame the other person for the relationship going awry. Well, you both were in there arguing and cussing and fussing and cutting up on each other. It's neither one, it's both your fault. So forgive yourself, take accountability for what it is that you did in that relationship that was wrong. Forgive yourself, and then forgive the other person as well. And move on and make sure you don't make those mistakes again.
So true, Toni. You pretty much done summed it up. Responsibility of your actions. What are the results of your actions? Exactly. The things and the things you do and say. So you will find out what the outcome would be. Am I right?
That's right.
So, accountability, to someone that may need to hear this, it is very, very important to be accountable in any situation or any area, because it's a every day by day process. It's a way of living that we have to take in to be accountable of what we do, what we say, how we live, how we react to things, our behaviors. That's it.
And that's just the bottom line. I mean, in any case, when it comes down to relationships,
Yes.
when it comes down to job responsibilities, when it comes down to finances,
Right.
I used to try to, I get a little shopping situation for myself, but I do know that if I don't go shopping, I won't buy anything.
Right.
How about that? So I can't keep saying, well, I'm a shopaholic, I don't know what to do, I just had to do it. Don't go. My responsibility in that, taking responsibility, is not going shopping. Because if I go shopping, I'm going to buy. That's just like a person going into a crack house but say they're not going to do no crack, okay?
Right.
You don't get to go sit down at the crack house and just enjoy the view. So I'm not going shopping to enjoy the view. I'm going shopping to shop. So if you don't want to do something and what you're doing is not serving you well, then you have to take the responsibility for yourself and stop those particular actions.
Right.
And it won't lead you into despair. And I can't say enough, Shirley and I, that just start being responsible for your part in your life. And that is the only way you have the power to change it, if you take responsibility for your own actions. Because as long as you leave it outside of yourself and give it to somebody else and say it's their fault, they're not concerned with saving you.
So
they're
true.
not concerned with changing your life for the better. They are trying to work on their own life. So you take responsibility for yourself, and then you can change your life for the better.
Once again, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Toni Talk Show. I hope that this message have inspired someone or encouraged someone to really, really look at yourself and look at this word of being accountable for your actions, for your behavior, what you do and what you say, and how you live. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Toni Talk Show.
Thank you. Much love. See you next time.